All right, guys, welcome back. This is going to be a much different recap. We are going to go through the card we just had, which was just brutal, terrible. But we're going to go through some other stuff as well. I'm just going to tell you my thoughts, and yeah, see what you guys think. But yeah, definitely a humble pie experience. We got beat. We got beat bad. Lost every bet. That's hard to do. It's hard to lose every bet. It's not hard to lose consistently, but it's hard to lose every bet in a week. You're bound to get lucky. And so, yeah, this was just terrible. Terrible, our numbers wrong? Probably. It's probably a combination of numbers wrong, unlucky, bad bets, who knows. But I am going to tell you some of my philosophies here. We're going to get into the philosophies of what I'm doing, and we're going to give a silver lining to all of this as well. So let's go into it. Let's just run through the recap of the bets here first, and then we'll dive into the rest. Okay, recap here. Patty Mix, terrible bet. Patty Mix looked awful. His striking looked mid-level, and Mario Batista looked like he was in the Matrix. Horrible bet. Where does that come from? I'll tell you right now. My metrics showed the Patty Mix had a much higher advanced metrics, but he fought against worse competition. So a lot of things are going to have to change. I would say one thing that has to change is consistently the metrics can't be weighted as much as they are. That was just a terrible bet. And if we take a look, if we take a look down here at Patty Mix and Mario Batista, the WHR and Glico were much higher on Patty Mix, but he fought much lower level competition to get there because these metrics are only going to rate itself based on who they fought. And so we have to dive deeper here. We can use these metrics, but we have to dive deeper and figure it out. And maybe when there's a switchover from one promotion to the UFC, we gotta weigh that as well. But either way, just a terrible bet. He got crushed. A lot of people were on Patty Mix though. Line held pretty stable, and so what are you gonna do there, right? Next bet was Vicente Luque. Should have been 50-50. I think Kevin Holland, his ratings should be higher at welterweight, and so again, we had something where we could have caught it. A lot of those losses for Holland come at middleweight, and so that should have been factored in. Sergey Spivak was a close fight. Tough scorecard, but I can't really complain. I thought it was going to be split decision win for Acosta, maybe for Spivak. It was all about who got that first round, but the scorecards were weird. Either way, the parlay with Patty Mix was never going to go anywhere. Ariana Lipsky, overweight, blah, 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 gets beat. Ashmuls gets beat. Then we got the inside the distance with Ashmuls. There were moments, but no. Bruno Silva gets beat pretty handily. There just was nothing. This was a perfectly humbling card where I had nothing and got beat pretty good. And even my leans, if I would have, this tapped me out right here after the Patty Mix, I was done for the card. I was not going to put any more units. This basically brought us, after an incredible quarter one, brought us down to 0, and I'll show you that later. Even though the units are more, it's because we increased our unit size in the second quarter, and we'll run through that. But yeah, just a terrible card. That's all it is. And I will be taking a break on this next card coming up, UFC Atlanta. I'm going to maybe put out a few bets here and there. Maybe I'll just put out a small, hey, I got a couple units here, a couple units there, but the model needs a complete rework because I was going to let it run out, give it a chance. After quarter one, it was so good that I was like, okay, well, we're struggling in quarter two. We'll run it for a little, see what we can do, and then see if it bounces back. It didn't bounce back. We hit 0, so now we're back to 0. We made no money. We actually have made half a unit. So on the year to date, we're up half a unit after being up 77 units. So let's get into that. I'll show you how that went. But UFC 316, total dud, but a learning experience nonetheless. And let's just get into this here, guys. Cumulative units. And I will show you this graph up on the screen here. Cumulative units. We started out UFC Vegas 101. That was the beginning of the year. I think that was January 15th. That was I think it was Mackenzie Dern, Amanda Ribas. We lost 4.4 units, and then, boy, did we go on a run. Our cumulative units, 2.72, 17.98, up to 21, up to 35, 47, 63, boom, jumped up to 80, and then 77. This was the end of quarter one right here at UFC Mexico City. And then after that, our cumulative units have just tanked in the second quarter. And the bad part of this as well, you go, oh, well, we're up 26 units. No, we increased our unit size 50%. And so that loss of 50 was more like a loss of 75. And we were at 77. So we're essentially at zero. We're going to be revamping everything. UFC Atlanta. I may have a few bets, but yeah, I mean, let's just talk. Let's get into the reason I'm even making this video. So, all right. So as we look at this graph here, our cumulative units, and we see that it's dropping like this. A lot of times what can happen here is you go completely on tilt and you just start dumping bad money onto a burning fire. You have a dumpster fire and you're dumping money into it. We're not going to do that. We're going to go the other way. We were going to wait to the end of quarter two. We will not anymore. We are going to hold off on placing large wagers. We're going to drop down on our unit size, decrease it again by 33%. And that'll bring it back to the original unit size. So whatever that is for you guys, but that's what I'm doing. And I'm going to drop down the quantity of bets. I'm going to try to go a little more sniper on things and see if I can rebuild the model so that it actually picks winners. And I hope that we're not jumping the gun on the model, but based on these last results, something is wrong. We know that. And one of the things in betting on sports is you got to drop the ego if you are going to succeed. This isn't about ego. It's not about pride. It's about money. And if we're losing, we have to set the ego aside, admit we're wrong, and figure it out. So that's what I'm going to do. Still going to be some videos coming out here, but we're going to tighten things up a bit. And I got a really good bet on CFFC, and I thought about it. They limit how much you can bet on it, but for the unit size that you guys who are watching me are probably using, you can get about 100, 150, 200 down on it. There may be some other sports books, but depending on your unit size, you can at least get a unit on there. Eventually, if there's a lot of value in it, we'd have to find a couple more sports books to get multiple action down. But either way, I think there's going to be some value in different places. I'd never want to be so stubborn in what I'm thinking as to not take advantage of other things and to not be able to admit when things are going poorly. So we're going to change things up. You'll see the different looks. Stay tuned for any picks. I'm going to give you sort of my confidence on certain things, but again, tread with caution. We're going to drop down our unit size so that we can stay in the game and figure things out while we're staying in the game. And there you go, guys. So sorry we couldn't meet at the window in this last one. We didn't meet once. We didn't cash a ticket. We burned them all. And we're burning the boats. We're moving forward, and we're gonna figure this out. So you're on this journey with me. We're gonna learn together, and we're gonna, by the end of this, have a model that produces consistent, long-term winning. See you guys.